Close your eyes. Feel the cool glass in your hand. Lift it to your lips. A single sip of pure, clean, refreshing water. Now, where are you? You might imagine a mountain cabin with a glass filled from a glacial stream, or a lush green country where rain is plentiful and rivers run deep. Forget it, the year is now. The place, the coastal desert of the Arabian Peninsula. The city, Dubai. A metropolis of 9 million people, of glass towers that pierce the clouds, of green lawns and sprawling golf courses that defy the sand, and the water in your glass. It didn't come from a river. It didn't fall from the sky. It was born in the sea, and then it was made. What does it feel like to build a city on sand? What sound does a manufactured river make? What does it cost, not in money, but in energy, to give a desert metropolis a drink? Before we trace that journey, a quick question for you. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word Dubai? Is it skyscrapers, luxury, the desert? Let me know in the comments. A surprising number of people who enjoy these deep dives forget to subscribe. If this is the kind of story that fascinates you, please take a moment to click that button. It's the single most important thing you can do to ensure we can keep making them. We can't build this community without you. Now, let's begin where every drop of Dubai's lifeblood begins, in the warm, saline waters of the Arabian Gulf. The first thing you notice is the immensity. We are not talking about a small pipe. Picture an intake structure so vast it could swallow a train, submerged miles offshore. These are the mouths of the city. Giant concrete canals that draw the Gulf itself into the machine. The water here is warm, sometimes reaching 35 degrees Celsius in the summer, and it is salty. Incredibly salty. Salter than most of the world's oceans due to high evaporation and limited circulation. This isn't just water. This is a challenge. For every 1,000 grams of water pulled into these intakes, almost 45 grams are dissolved salts, a hostile raw material. From these offshore intakes, the seawater begins a journey through a series of screens. First, heavy grates to block large debris, then finer and finer meshes to remove jellyfish, seaweed, and sand. The water is dosed with chemicals to prevent algae and bacteria from growing inside the veins of the system. This isn't a gentle filtration. This is an industrial purification, a cleansing before the main event. Because what happens next is where the modern miracle truly begins. The water arrives at a place that looks less like a water treatment facility and more like a sprawling power station. This is the Jebel Ali Desalination Plant, the largest complex of its kind on the entire planet. It is the heart of Dubai, and its constant, thunderous hum is the city's true heartbeat. Here, two different kinds of magic happen. One, a process of brute force and heat. The other, an act of submolecular pressure. Let's look at the older method first. Multi-stage flash distillation, or MSF. Forget the image of a simple kettle boiling water. This is something else entirely. Imagine a series of chambers, a cascade of pressurized rooms. In the first chamber, the pre-treated seawater is heated, but not to a full boil. It's under high pressure, which keeps it in a liquid state even as its temperature soars. Then, suddenly, this superheated brine is released into the next chamber, where the pressure is slightly lower. And it happens. The water instantly and violently flashes into steam, leaving the heavy salts and minerals behind. It's not a gentle evaporation. It's an explosive release. This pure steam then rises and billows against bundles of cold pipes running through the top of the chamber. And what is flowing through those pipes? More cold seawater, on its way to be heated. The steam condenses on these pipes, becoming droplets of perfectly pure, distilled water, which are collected in trays. It's an exquisitely efficient dance of energy. The very process of condensation preheats the next batch of seawater, reducing the total energy required. This process repeats chamber after chamber, each one at a slightly lower pressure than the last, flashing more and more water into steam until all that's left is a highly concentrated, sludgy brine that is returned to the sea. This is the sound of the plant, the roar of burners heating the brine, the hiss of water flashing into vapor, the hum of massive pumps moving millions of gallons every hour. It's a process born of the mid-20th century, a testament to industrial might, powerful, reliable, but incredibly thirsty for energy. Most of the MSF plants in Dubai are co-located with natural gas-burning power stations for a reason. They feed on the waste heat, a symbiotic relationship between generating power and generating water. What part of this process fascinates you most so far? The sheer scale of the intake, or the science of separating salt from water? I'm curious to read your thoughts below, but that's not the only method. Side by side with these cathedrals of steam and steel is a quieter, more modern technology, a process that feels more like biology than industry. This is reverse osmosis. To understand reverse osmosis, you first have to understand regular osmosis. It's a fundamental principle of life. If you have a semi-permeable membrane, a barrier that lets water pass through but not salt, and you put fresh water on one side and salt water on the other, the fresh water will naturally flow towards the salt water. It's trying to create balance, to dilute the saltier side. Life depends on this. It's how our cells regulate their water content. Reverse osmosis does exactly what its name implies. It brutally reverses the natural order of things. Instead of letting nature take its course, engineers apply immense, overwhelming pressure to the saltwater side. Hundreds of pounds per square inch of force. A pressure so great it overcomes the natural osmotic tendency and forces the water molecules to do something they would never do on their own. They are squeezed, molecule by molecule, through the membrane, leaving the salt, the minerals, the impurities behind. Picture the membrane itself. It's not a simple filter. It's a marvel of material science. Spirally wound sheets of a polymer composite engineered with pores so impossibly small, less than a nanometer across, that a water molecule can barely pass through. But a sodium ion, slightly larger and carrying an electrical charge, is rejected. It's a molecular gatekeeper. The water that makes it through is called permeate. The rejected, super salty water left behind is the concentrate, or brine. At the Jebel Ali plant, thousands of these membrane-filled cylinders are housed in long white vessels, arranged in massive buildings called RO trains. The sound here isn't the roar of furnaces. It's the high-pitched whine of the high-pressure pumps, the constant, relentless hum of energy being applied to fight physics. This technology is more energy efficient than MSF, which is why most new desalination plants are built using reverse osmosis. But it's also more delicate. The membranes are sensitive, easily clogged by oil or biological growth, which is why the pre-treatment of the seawater is so aggressive, so critical. If you know someone who would be amazed by the engineering behind this city, consider sharing this with them. And if you're getting value from this journey, a quick tap of the like button helps more people discover it. Now, whether it came from the flash of steam in an MSF chamber or was squeezed through the pores of an RO membrane, the water we have now is in a strange state. It is almost perfectly pure H2O, which sounds like the goal, but it's not. This water is dead. It's corrosive, it tastes flat, and it lacks the essential minerals our bodies need. Drinking it would be unhealthy. It would leach minerals from your bones. So the next stage of the journey begins, bringing the water back to life. In what's called a post-treatment or remineralization phase, this pure, aggressive water is passed through beds of limestone and dolomite. It dissolves just enough of the calcium and magnesium to restore a natural mineral balance. Chlorine is added to ensure its safety as it travels through the city's arteries, and the pH is carefully adjusted. This is the final touch, a manufactured water given a carefully calibrated taste of the earth. When Jesus said, "I am the living water," he was speaking to people who knew the difference between the stagnant water of a dirty cistern and the fresh, life-giving water of a flowing spring. Dubai's engineers have to create that living water. They take the dead, sterile product of their machines and carefully resurrect it into something that can sustain a city. And then comes the final journey, from the plant to the people. The scale of this is hard to comprehend. Every single day, the Jebel Ali complex alone can produce over 500 million gallons of this manufactured water. That's enough to fill 750 Olympic swimming pools every 24 hours. This water is pushed into a sprawling network of pipelines by colossal pumping stations. Some of these pipes are over 2 meters in diameter. Think of a tunnel, buried beneath the sand, filled with water under high pressure. This network is the city's vascular system. It stretches for thousands of kilometers, a hidden web that connects every skyscraper, every villa, every hotel, every fountain to that single source at Jebel Ali. The pressure required is immense. To push water to the top of the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, requires a series of powerful booster pumps inside the building itself, lifting the water in stages, a vertical river climbing more than 1/2 kilometer into the sky. But what if the plant stops? What if there's a power failure, a major mechanical breakdown, or even a deliberate disruption? For a city that gets 99% of its drinking water from this single lifeline, that's not a question. It's an existential threat. This is why Dubai has been building a new kind of insurance. Massive strategic water reservoirs. We're not talking about a water tower. Near the edge of the desert, engineers have built the largest man-made water reservoir in the world. It's not a lake on the surface exposed to the sun and evaporation. It's an artificial aquifer, a vast underground lake filled with desalinated water. Over years, billions of gallons of excess production have been pumped into a natural underground basin, a wand where the water can be stored safely for months, even years. It is Dubai's emergency reserve, a buffer between the city and catastrophe. It's the modern equivalent of Joseph's storehouses in Egypt, a hedge against a future famine, but a famine of water, not grain. And just a quick pause. I know this might be the second time you're hearing this, but it truly is vital. If you're still with me on this journey into the heart of Dubai's Lifeline and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. Every single one of you helps keep this channel alive. Now, let's confront a difficult truth. This entire process, this miracle of engineering, comes at a staggering cost. The first cost is energy. Desalination is one of the most energy-intensive industrial processes on Earth. To make 1 cubic meter of water, enough for a few showers, conventional plants burn a significant amount of natural gas. Dubai, a city built on oil wealth, has been able to afford this, but it contributes massively to the region's carbon footprint. It's the paradox of the modern desert city. To create life-giving water, it burns the very fossil fuels that are warming the planet and making the desert even more unforgiving. There's a race to solve this, connecting reverse osmosis plants directly to massive solar farms, using the desert's most abundant resource, sunlight, to solve its most critical shortage, water. The Noor Energy One project, a massive concentrated solar power and photovoltaic plant in the Dubai desert, is designed in part to power this new generation of desalination, a future where the sun both bakes the land and quenches its thirst. But there is a second, hidden cost: the brine. Remember the salt, the minerals, all the impurities left behind? For every liter of fresh water produced, especially with older MSF technology, you can get up to 2 liters of super salty, chemical-laden wastewater. This brine has to go somewhere, and it goes back into the Arabian Gulf. Over time, this has a measurable effect. The constant discharge of hot, dense, hypersaline water sinks to the seabed, creating dead zones where very little marine life can survive. It raises the overall salinity of the Gulf, which in turn makes the raw seawater harder and more energy-intensive to desalinate in the first place. It is a slow, creeping feedback loop. The solution to the water problem creates a new set of environmental problems. It's a delicate, high-stakes balancing act on a regional scale. This changes how we must see the city. When we see the spectacular fountains of the Dubai Mall dancing to music, shooting water hundreds of feet into the air, that isn't just a display, that is a statement, a declaration of victory over the desert. Every drop of that water was pulled from the sea, stripped of its salt by incredible force, brought back to life with minerals, and pumped to that spot. It is liquid energy. It is manufactured abundance. It is perhaps the most expensive fountain water on the planet. This is the great myth bust of Dubai. Forget the idea of a desert oasis drawing from a deep, timeless well. The natural groundwater aquifers that existed here for centuries are almost gone. Depleted decades ago. What little remains is often too brackish for any use without, you guessed it, desalination. The city didn't just grow beyond its natural means. It has replaced them entirely. It runs on a different operating system, not of nature, but of engineering. Think about the language of the city. We speak of resourcefulness, of innovation, of building the future. When a developer plans a new district with lush parks and swimming pools, that isn't just design. That is a calculation, a line item in a budget for water production. Every green lawn is a testament to the power of a reverse osmosis membrane. Every chilled swimming pool is a product of a multi-stage flash chamber. The hands that built this city didn't just pour concrete and raise steel. They laid thousands of kilometers of pipe. They designed pumps that could defy gravity. They perfected the art of molecular separation on a scale previously unimaginable. This is the work of the modern Tecton. Not a builder of stone houses, but a builder of ecosystems. A craftsman who works not with wood and rock, but with pressure, temperature, and polymer membranes. When you see a gardener in Dubai hand-watering a patch of flowers, that act is a ritual. He is dispensing not just water, but a complex, manufactured product that began its journey miles out at sea, passed through a multi-billion-dollar industrial machine, and traveled through a pressurized subterranean network to reach his hose. That single drop on a petunia petal represents more energy and technology than an entire village's water supply in another part of the world. Now, step back. Think about everything we've seen. The vast mouth of the intake canal, drinking the sea. The violent, hissing flash of steam in a chamber. The silent, immense pressure forcing water through a membrane pore by pore. As the limestone beds, giving the dead water a taste of earth. The hum of the pumps in the desert, pushing a river through a hidden tunnel. The artificial aquifer, a promise held in reserve beneath the sand. All of it. One city, one lifeline, one monumental act of will against nature. This is where humanity has arrived. The ability not just to find water, not just to move it, but to make it. To take an environment fundamentally hostile to urban life and, through sheer force of engineering and energy, bend it to our will. Dubai isn't an illusion, it is a testament to what is possible when a single need, the need for water, is met with unlimited ambition. When the Bible speaks of making the desert bloom, it was a metaphor for divine blessing. In Dubai, it is a matter of public policy and capital expenditure. The parables here are written in blueprints and flow diagrams. The house built on rock is a skyscraper anchored in bedrock, cooled by water made from the sea. The seed that finds good soil finds soil that is irrigated by a complex, computer-controlled drip system. This is the state of our world. We no longer just live on the earth. We actively manage it, transform it, and in places like Dubai, we recreate it. The city isn't just a collection of buildings. It is a massive life support machine. And like any machine, it is fragile. It requires constant maintenance, immense inputs of energy, and an unwavering belief that the system will hold. The next time you turn on a tap, take a moment. Whether you're in Dubai or Denver, London or Lima, think about the journey that water took to reach you. The engineering, the energy. Are the people who manage the vast invisible system that brings you this simple, essential element. The founders of Dubai didn't just build a city, they built a long-term solution to an impossible problem. They looked at the desert, they looked at the sea, and they decided to build a bridge between them. A bridge of heat and pressure and pipes. And on that bridge, they built a future. This kind of story, the hidden machinery that makes our world possible, is what we are dedicated to exploring. The engineering marvels, the ecological challenges, the human ingenuity. This is the last time I'll ask, I promise. But if you want to be part of the next journey, subscribing makes all the difference in the world. If this has changed the way you see a city like Dubai, if you feel you understand the true price of that desert oasis, lean into that. Look at the world around you and ask a new question. Not just what is that, but how is that possible? The answers will change everything. I have a question for you. Knowing what it takes to produce water in Dubai, does it change your opinion of the city's famous fountains and green spaces? Are they beautiful displays or something else? Tell me in the comments.